This is Trump talking about, I guess he's not spreading conspiracy theories except for the whole thing about how, the election is already rigged against him. And the last one was 2. That's why, all those illegal immigrants were, 3 million votes. Now he's on to vote by mail.
Millions and millions of ballots to anybody that's breathing. Anybody in California that's breathing gets a ballot.
But, Mr. President, that's not true. California is...
Excuse me, wait a minute, I'm not finished. So here's your man, and that's on Twitter. And the amazing thing is he's wrong. And even no matter who it is, they will admit that he's wrong because there's tremendous controversy on mail-in voting. And I can say this, the Republican Party cannot let it happen. Go ahead.
Well, Gavin Newsom, Governor Newsom, has not sent ballots out to everybody in California. They're only going to registered voters.
How many are there?
So what your tweet said was not wrong. That was not correct. It was wrong.
Okay. Oh, really? So when he sends out 28 million ballots, and they're in all the mailboxes, and kids go and they raid the mailboxes, and they hand them to people that are signing the ballots down the end of the street, which is happening. They grab the ballots. You don't think that happens? There's ballot harvesting where all of us, we had 7 elections for Congress, and they were like tied, and they lost every one of them because they came and they dropped a whole pile of ballots on the table. But you don't think they rip them out of mailboxes? It's all the time. You read about it. You can read about it. Take a look. They do worse than that. In some cases, they won't sell them like to a Republican community, a conservative community. They don't happen to send the ballots to those communities. And there's no way of checking. No, you have to go and you have to vote. Voting is a great thing. Voting, we would be the laughing stock of the world. And if you just use common sense, that's going to happen. But they raid the mailboxes. They can even print ballots. They get the same paper, the same machine, nothing special. They get the same paper, the same machine. They print ballots. And Bill would have to do a great job to catch him doing it, or your state authorities would have to. But you have tremendous potential, and you have tremendous fraud and abuse, but you have tremendous potential for fraud and abuse. Go ahead.
Mr. President,
you don't need to be some type of you don't need to be a mathematician or a physicist to figure this out. The way that you would catch somebody if I get sent a ballot, when I sign it, when I go absentee and I do send my ballot in by mail, I sign my name on the outside of the ballot. They pull the ballot out. It's in another envelope so that they can't figure out who I voted for, and they put that in a pile. If 2 people send back an envelope from Sam Seder, guess what? That's going to ring some alarm bells. So the idea is what he's suggesting is that the kids, when they steal from the mailbox, have to know who on the block is not voting, votes for them, then sends it back in.
Are the kids who steal the ballots from the mailboxes on the block, the kids are, I guess, Democrats and they know which houses are Republicans too? Is that the other part? Do the kids know? They know the voting history of the ballots they're harvesting?
Of course, Soros funds the whole thing.
Okay.
Sends them a voter data file. And then the kids go around the clubhouse. It's like, little rascals.
Yeah.
Pouring over spreadsheets.
Yeah, I emailed George Soros that we should just use that infrastructure for turning out the vote, but I can't convince him on that.
I was going to say, Biden campaign, here's some free ideas for you. Get some of that.
It does remind me of that, there was that old Phil Hartman thing on Saturday Night Live where he would pretend Reagan, he'd do
behind closed doors, Reagan,
he's really sharp, and he's like, all right, everybody get back in here. Pulls down and that's what Biden is. Biden's out there going, look, I've got a core. I have actually been, they say I'm too touchy with kids. Well, let me tell you this. I have been actually growing a core of children.
Right.
Who go around from mailbox to mailbox around the country. And that's how we're going to do this. Most of them are located in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and in Michigan. And they're going to hit the mailboxes. They know exactly which boxes are there. And that's the way we're going to do this.
Yeah, the reason I need so many high dollar fundraisers is because I'm taking Wall Street money and I'm giving it to underprivileged youth to harvest ballots in California.
And the reason he's always touching them so much is because that's how he communicates with them.
Exactly.
Right.
Sending secret messages through a back robe.
4 taps means it's the third house on the right.
Once again, I wish we had I wish we had the liberal machine that exists in the conservative imagination.
Yes. He is very clearly worried about having high voter turnout.
Yeah,
and keeping people, and we see this in Texas. They now, this ruling where they're basically going to say like only old people, and I don't know, have they moved it also to like only old people and NRA members can vote by mail.
Right.
And the rest have to be in person.
Yeah, well, he's just trying to get out in front of it, It's important in politics.
The interesting thing is like, I wonder if that's not, I mean, I think he's specifically trying to do that. I think he's trying to make sure that they're starting to anticipate the next round of bailout for the country. And because we are 4 or 5 weeks away from extended unemployment running out, we are a couple of weeks away from all of the paycheck protection money that is forgivable running out. So by the time we get to July, we're going to start to see even more impact. Not just from the 40 million people who are unemployed, but the ones who were not unemployed up at this point, and some of the commentary that I've seen in terms of like the rate of unemployment has slowed. We must be coming out of it. March was the bottom. People are forgetting that in, I don't know how many millions of small businesses around the country, they had an 8 to 10 week window, I think it was, in 2 different tranches of paying their employees. And I mean, I think that's why they hurried stuff out, was to hope that people would go back, they would get business back. And so, but a certain percentage of those, and I don't know if it's going to be 10% or 70%, are going to say like, we don't have the revenue to maintain this payroll anymore.
Yeah. And even if unemployment does go down, that might not necessarily be an indicator that people are doing all right, right? Because
the jobs suck.
Jobs suck. Most of the jobs people got in the recovery from the 2008 financial crisis are terrible gig economy jobs where they don't get even paid minimum wage in many cases, don't have any labor rights, and have to do multiple gigs at once just to get by. So that's not a very good. I know the stock market might be doing okay, but these things aren't great indicators of how people are actually doing.
Indeed. And I think he is already telling the Republican Party, when this next tranche of relief money comes through and the Democrats are trying to push vote by mail, that has to be out. That cannot be in there. You've got McConnell's like a line in the sand is, immunity from any type of work standards to protect workers or to protect, consumers in these places that are opening up. And Trump's is no vote by mail. Those are their sort of Mangio lines, I guess. Am I saying that right? Mangino.
Maginot. Yeah. I mean, Winnie thinks that Trump is going to do more stimulus and give people like $2,000 a month. And that creates a dangerous situation whenever the Republicans get to the left of the Democrats on economic issues. Even if the Democrats have done something, they haven't done much for people. Like most of what people have gotten so far by way of relief is a check with Donald Trump's name on it.
Yep.
So,
I mean, if Mitch McConnell was smart, absolutely that's what would happen. If Mitch McConnell was smart, he would just be like, let's send the Trump debit cards to every fucking house in America.
But
he's gonna be the one standing in the way of that.
Even if it's woefully insufficient, people are used to getting nothing. and it's better than nothing. Like, I've seen this attitude. It's really scary.
And they're going to say it ends on, whatever it is, November 20th or something of 2020. I mean, the biggest failure, of course, was I don't want to get back into this, but the failure of automatic stabilizers in the Democratic package. I mean, they can offer this stuff, but it's just sort of, they can't take credit for stuff that they didn't even put in their own bill.
They didn't put it in their own bill. Yeah.
Let's take